Using Google NotebookLM.to generate an automated podcast.
Okay, so imagine this. Every single step you take in the city actually helps power it. And I'm not talking about some, sci-fi movie scenario here, but an actual project using something called piezoelectricity. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that's our deep dive today, Project Kronos.
Definitely cool.
And the best part is we've got like a front row seat to this whole thing because our source is an actual teacher who's been mentoring the students behind this whole innovation. Talk about bringing learning to life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talk about learning by doing.
It's exactly.
This is taking it to a whole other level.
So we all know cities are only getting bigger, right?
Right.
More people, more buildings, more lights that need to stay on all the time. It's a massive energy demand. Huge. And not always the cleanest energy either, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really makes you wonder, like, what's the hidden cost of keeping our cities running 24/7? Like, we're so used to the convenience of it all, but Project Kronos really makes you think about where all that power comes from.
Totally. And they've come up with this really, really elegant solution. Imagine, right? Harnessing all that kinetic energy from all those footsteps, hitting the pavement day and night, just all the time, and turning it into usable power, enough to light up our cities.
Yeah, and what I think is really neat is the team behind Project Kronos wasn't just focused on finding like a new energy source. They wanted something that also tackled the environmental impact too, specifically looking at like how to actually shrink those carbon footprints that cities leave behind.
Which is something that a lot of green initiatives really struggle with, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to have like a really cool idea on paper,
Right.
but it's another thing to actually make it work in the real world.
Yeah.
But this feels different,
It does.
It's practical. It's like built into the way we already live. It just, it makes sense.
It does.
So how do they actually make it work?
Yeah.
Well, it all comes down to this very cool phenomenon called piezoelectricity.
Which, let me tell you, is way, way less complicated than it sounds. So certain materials, and the source mentions like quartz and some ceramics, actually generate a tiny bit of electricity when you apply pressure to them or like you bend them. Yeah, it's like they've got this hidden talent, this ability to sort of transform like mechanical energy into electrical energy. And what's really interesting is that some materials are way better at this whole conversion thing than others.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like picking the right tool for the job, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want to generate, a usable amount of electricity from like footsteps, you need a material that's really, really good at like capturing that energy.
Yeah, you need something efficient. And that's actually where Project Kronos, they landed on this material called lead zirconate titanate.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
You know, right?
Lead zirconate, what was it?
Lead zirconate titanate, PZT for short.
PZT, okay. It's little bits of energy.
It is. And all those tiny, tiny bits of energy get collected and then they're sent to a charge controller.
Okay.
Which is basically like, the manager makes sure everything is flowing smoothly.
Okay, I like it. So we're managing the energy. What happens next? Does it like shoot straight to the streetlights?
Not quite. It gets stored in batteries.
Okay.
Kind of like how your phone stores energy,
Right.
So it's sitting there waiting to be used. And then when it's time to, light things up, an inverter steps in.
Okay, an inverter. So is that like an adapter or something?
They've shown it works.
Wait, they've actually built this thing.
They did. They created like a proof of concept, simulating a busy street with lots of foot traffic.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And drum roll, please. Did it work?
It did. They were able to successfully power lights using nothing but those simulated footsteps.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not just a theory anymore. It's a real possibility.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not just, a pie in the sky idea. It actually like works in a real world setting.
Yeah. And it gets even cooler.
Okay.
Because if they can, light up a small area like this, imagine the possibilities on a larger scale.
Right.
Foot traffic in real time, and then that piezo generated energy, it could be directed to where it's needed most at any given moment.